wise by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Off the mirrors appear clear, ready from ear to ear. Craving and raving the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know our purpose. In paradise, in paradise. We know what our worth is. In paradise, in paradise. We manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you can see.
Boom. Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and it is Monday. Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic day today, enjoying this beautiful weather. Of course, I am feeling a lot better than I was before. But anyway, feeling good, ready to get this thing going. What a great win by the Thunder yesterday. I was going to go to the game, and then I ended up falling asleep, taking a nap, and did not wake up in time to go to the game. But it was the Grizzlies. I figured they were going to spank them. And then, of course, tomorrow is the Pacers. And then on Thursday are the Mavs. So those are two games that I really, really, really want to go to. So, and then the other option was the Big 12 games, which, of course, my guy, the Commander Randy Wright, is going up to Kansas City to watch them. But anyway, Thunder yesterday did take care of business, which we kind of thought that they would. Against, and I guess my guy Nathan Taylor will be coming on at some point today. Anyway, the Thunder took care of business over the Grizzlies yesterday, 124-93, improving to 45-19. The Grizzlies are now 22-43. The Grizzlies were 11 for 33 from three. The Thunder were 21-47 from three. 41% for the Grizzlies, 52%. Our defense was fantastic yesterday, by the way. 46 rebounds to 39, 46 points in the paint, 46 for us, 40 for them, 16 turnovers, which is more like right on our average of what the Thunder do. And then, of course, the Grizzlies were killed as far as bench scoring, which that's not something we normally do, is beat up on teams that bad. But the Grizzlies are just, they just they're just a shell of themselves. They really, really, truly are. And then when you look at the overall, the stats for the game, Chet Holmgren, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. J-Dub, of course, got hurt, stepped on the cameraman's camera, which hopefully that won't be too bad. He did not come back and play, which I'm assuming they just went ahead and said, hey, forget this. This is a meaningless game. We've got a tough schedule coming up, which I'll be showing you here in just a minute. He had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. SGA went stealless yesterday, but still had 23 points with 2 rebounds and 6 assists. Only playing 27 minutes, 3 quarters is basically what he played. He did not play the fourth. He only shot 2 free throws. And once again, when you look at the Thunder, we only shot, let me see, what is that? 2, 3, 7 free throws. We shot 7 free throws. Wait, I take it back. We shot 5 free throws. We were 5 for 5. Wow. 5. I was counting up. It was 2, 3, 5. So we shot 5. We were 5 for 5. That's just, we're just not getting the calls. We drive to the basket a lot, and we just don't get the calls that we need to really, I believe, truly get. And we're going to see how that's going to change. And then, of course, after that, everybody else played. Gordon Hayward, 5 points, 3 rebounds in 18 minutes, 2 for 3. He's still trying to find his way around what's going to happen. Isaiah Joe, 7 points in 16 minutes. Wiggins, 4 points in 13 minutes. Cason Wallace, 22 points in 27. I thought Cason did a great job coming in and playing in J-Dub's place yesterday. I thought that was he played really, really good. So, but anyway, when you look at that, the team played pretty good overall. And then, of course, what does this mean as far as the standings are concerned? the standings are concerned, the Thunder are now 3 straight games they've won. The Nuggets, of course, won last night. That's 2 in a row for them. The T-Wolves lost in two in the second one in a row. And let's face it, I mean, the T-Wolves, they got beat yesterday by the Lakers, but there was no, of course, Cat. And then Rudy Gobert wasn't in there either. So that allowed LeBron to go to the basket and do what he wanted. Without Gobert in there, you can just attack the basket and do what you want to do because he'll probably be the defensive player of the year again. So, but anyway, that does help having that inside presence. A big guy, as big as he is, it allows them to do what they do. But the T-Wolves have now dropped to third. The Clippers have dropped to fourth. And, I will say this: I don't think it was fair for them to be able to play two games in 22 hours. I mean, they played late, and Paul George and Kawhi played a lot of minutes the night before. So, of course, they're playing a noon game, the second game in 22 hours. That just wasn't fair. But, of course, they are sharing the facility with the Lakers, and that's going to be over, as Ty Lue said. They get their new Intuit Dome starting this. I guess it'll be as soon as the season's over with. The gym, I mean, it'll be ready. So that's going to be nice for them to have their own facility so they don't have to go through this again because I think, he said they played, what was it, 43, 42 or whatever games that was scheduled because they're sharing the gym with them. And then the average was 14 or something like that. It was something stupid. I said, wow, that is just crazy. But anyway, the Clips are 3.5 back. The Pelicans 39-25. Then, of course, the Suns are coming in there. But this is the crazy part. Between 5 and 10, okay, which is the 5 and 9, really 5 and 10, however you want to look at it, it's 5 games. That's it. And there's 2 games or 3 games between 6 and 10. And so, the Lakers are trying to get in there at 6th. The Warriors are trying to get in there. I don't know if they'll really be able to get in there. The Mavs, because as it stands now, it would be the Kings against the Mavs, the Mavs visiting the Kings, and the Warriors visiting the Lakers. And then the winner of the Suns, the Kings, and the Mavs, that team would be the 7th-place team. And then the Mavs whoever the loser is, would play the winner of the Lakers and Warriors, and then the winner of that would be the 8th-place team. And let's face it, the Thunder don't want anything to do with the Lakers, and we've talked about that ad nauseum. The Thunder don't want anything to do with the Lakers in the first round. Second round, yeah, maybe probably more because they'll be a lot tired if they have to play a 7-game series, but you don't want to see the Lakers don't match up with the Lakers at all. I mean, at all. So that would be an ugly scenario for the Thunder. But I would say this. I was looking at the Thunder schedule, and we're going to post that up here in a minute compared to what the Nuggets are doing. Let me see. Do I have that? I know I do. I'm going to pull that up for you guys in the next 6 games. Here are the Thunder's next games. We have the Mavs. We have the Pacers at home Tuesday. The Pacers at home. The Mavs at home Thursday. Then go on the road Saturday against the Grizzlies. Then the Jazz at home, get a nice little break. Then this is when the tough schedule comes. You go at the Raptors, at the Bucks, at the Pelicans. That's just not going to be easy. It's really not. Especially you got to go at the Raptors, then at the Bucks, and then at the Pelicans. Those are games you got to go 2-1. You can't go 0-3. You got to go 1-2 at the absolute worst, but you need to go 2-1. You can't. I mean, it's just the top of it is just too tight. It's just too tight. It really is. And then you have the Rockets at home, which is going to be a tough game again for us. And then you have the Suns at home. And then this is the stretch. And, we've talked about this before. You have the Suns at home. Then you travel to New York to play the Knicks. Then you play the Sixers. Then you play the Celtics on a back-to-back night. Then you got to play the Pacers. So, everybody talks about the Thunder having the 7th easiest schedule. Yeah, possibly, but that 5-game stretch right there is ugly. It's ugly. It really is. It really, truly is ugly what the Thunder have to do. So you got to figure over the next, what is that? 5, 12, 14, 17, 18. We have 19 games left. And you got to figure out, this is what I look at. Okay, the Pacers, you got them at home, so you got to win that game. You got to protect them. We're 27-6, I believe, at home or something like that. So you've got to protect the home base. That's number one. Do I have that here? I don't have that here. What that is, I got that on my other piece of paper. Okay, the Thunder are now 27-6. 27-6 is what the Thunder are at home. So here's your deal: you got the Pacers, you got to win that. You got the Mavs at home, you got to win that. You have the Grizzlies on the road, you got to win that. You have the Jazz at home, you got to win that. So you got to go 4-0 over your next 3-1 absolute worst. Okay, so let's just say 3-1. Okay, just to be devil's advocate. Then you got the Raptors. You got to win that. You're probably going to lose to the Bucks at the Bucks, but okay, that's a loss. So that's 4-2 at the Pelicans. That's a 50-50. You got to be able to. You need to win that one. Okay. And let's say if you lose, let's just be devil's advocate. 4-3, then 5-3, then Suns again at home, 6-3, at the Knicks 7-3, 7-4. 7-5, let's say 7-6, 8-6. Kings at home, it's tough. 8-7. Let's give us a break. Let's go 9-6. Then Spurs, we owe them 10-6. The Bucks at home, we got to win to beat them at home. 11-7, 11-6, and the Mavs at home. So that's 12-6, or 13-6, or 12-7. That's what you got to go over your last 19 games, and that will put you at, if you go back up to the schedule, that will put us at 12 will put us at 57, okay, 57, and that's about what I wanted us to be at, 57 wins, then 25 losses is what you'd be at. And I originally had said 57, but watching the coach, I dropped it down to what I did because I just don't trust the guy. I really don't trust him. And, I probably should have stayed with my gut and just trusted SGA and the boys, and I did not do that. I went with my thing against him, my lack of trust against him. And then, now, our pursuers right now are the Nuggets, okay? Here are the Nuggets schedule. They have the Raptors at home tonight, which that's a win. You got the Heat at the Heat. That's going to be a tough, but I'm going to say that's a win. You have the Spurs at home. That's a win. At the Mavericks, I'm going to give them an L there. T-Wolves, at the T-Wolves, I'm going to give them another L. So that's 3-2. Then they play the Knicks at home. I'm going to give them a win. That's 4-2. Blazers at home 5-2, or on the road 5-2. Grizzlies, that's 6-2. The Suns, I'm gonna give them an L there. So I think the Suns are gonna want them. That's 6-3. Timberwolves at home, I'm gonna give them a win, 7-3. Cavaliers at home, 8-3. Spurs at home, 9-3. The Clippers at the Clippers, I'm gonna give them an L there. So that's 9-4. The Hawks, that's 10-4. Then the Jazz, that's 11-4. The T-Wolves, again, they're at home. I'm going to split that with them. I'm going to say that's 10-5. The Spurs, 10-5. 11-6. I'm going to say 12-5. And then 13-5 is what they're going to go over their next 18 games. So that puts them at 57-25. If we do the exact same thing, that matches us. And, of course, we have the tiebreaker because we have a 3-1 deal over him. So we finish first, they finish second if it goes by there, and if they actually finish 13-5. That's what will happen. And then, of course, we'd have to finish 12-6 is what we'd have to finish. That's what it would have to end up being if we do what I think we can do. That's where it's going to be, and the Thunder will finish first. So we'll see how that really works out. But it's really crazy when you look at what the scheduling is right now and what the Thunder need to do. It's really tough when you look at the scheduling. It's not going to be easy. I mean, it really isn't. It really isn't how it's stacking up right now. But the Thunder have a very good chance to really do something, and I believe that we can make it work. But it's just like I said, things got to fall our way. We got to have some breaks. We have to have some teams lose. We have to take care of business. And right now with J-Dub's ankle out, I don't know what the diagnosis has been for how long he'll be out. But, it looked like it was more a precautionary deal by taking him out, not playing him. And why would you play him in a game when we know we're going to blow out everybody? There's no sense in that, and hurting his ankle even worse. So hopefully that'll be done. But we are, 5-1 without him playing or something like that. So, I mean, Case and Wallace came in and did really well. And I think, like I said before, the chances of winning, we have against a 50-50 game, it's going to be tough for us to win a game without him. Can we do it? Yes. But is it going to be tougher for us? Yes. And the teams that we're supposed to beat, we can do that without J-Dub pretty easily. And we're 5-1. So we can beat 50-50 games as well without him, with SGA doing what SGA's doing, because you can see, if you've watched the last few games, he just takes over at the end. It says, like, forget what this coach is doing. Forget that you're going to, I don't have to worry about him calling timeout now at the end of the third quarter, put J-Dub in the game, let him shoot at the end of every quarter, which is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous how you don't put the ball in the MVP's hands at the end of a quarter with him on the floor. How the hell do you put it in anybody else's hands? I just, it's the Thunder. They believe J-Dub is going to be better, and they're trying to give J-Dub as much practice as they possibly can in him playing at the end of games, him scoring at the end of quarters, getting used to finishing off quarters so he can get used to it. That's what they're doing. You can sugarcoat it all you want. You can talk to the people who are not knowledgeable about basketball all you want. But for the rest of us, no, we're not going for that crap. We're not going for it. We know exactly what you're doing, and we're seeing what you're doing. So that being said, hey, you can go ahead and search YouTube right now. Go ahead and search YouTube, The Unpopular Hour, and you can like, subscribe, hit notifications, and by all means, go ahead and you can ask questions on the chat, or you can go ahead and you can comment about anything that I'm talking about right now. You can put your own comments, and I'll see it, because when I'm at home, I can see the screen because I have my two different screens, so I can watch and see whatever you're posting at that particular point. Search The Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark, and then like on Facebook, I can't really see it, but I can hear. After the Storm, your Oklahoma City Thunder post-game analysis show. Do that, like, subscribe, and hit notifications, and then every time we're on YouTube, it will pop up. And then, of course, if you don't have YouTube, you can search the internet at www.mcsportsnetwork.com, and you can pull it up that way if you need to. That being said, I hope you see that, but please, by all means, go ahead and ask questions, because I can't see them on Facebook because it messes up my phone and the way everything works. So go ahead and you can just do it here. I can see it, I can respond to it, and everybody else can see it at that point too as well. That's the Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark. So go ahead and do that, and look forward to seeing any of your questions that you might have. So anyway, that's what the analysis is for the Thunder and what's going on with them right now, and it's just crazy. So, man, I tell you what, basketball yesterday was crazy. Watching the girls play yesterday, Caitlin Clark, of course, they won their third straight Big Ten title at Iowa, beating a pesky Nebraska squad. I was just going, wow, what a game that was between Iowa and, Caitlin Clark being, 0 for 9 the first half with 4 points. And then, of course, she came back the second half with scored 30 and was just magnificent. That's what she was the second half. She was really, really good, taking her time and knocking down shots and doing all the things that she needed to do. Great job by her. It was a great game between Iowa and them, and I loved what I saw by them. Very gritty. They D'd up. And it's just like they remind me a lot of the Thunder, because everybody discounts the Thunder by how young they are. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but they played in so many close games the Thunder have. So many. They know what to do. They got to get stops. They know how to score at the end. You've got one of the best closers in the history of the game in SGA. They know what to do. So if you just take it out of the coach's hands, which SGA has been doing lately in the fourth quarter, when he gets in the game, he just gets the ball and goes, look, I'm bringing the ball up the court. Forget what this guy's talking about. I'm going to bring the ball up the court, and I'm going to make decisions, and I'm going to win in spite of what he's doing. So, and that's basically what I saw yesterday. Caitlin Clark just basically took over. She did trust her teammates while she's making plays and making the correct passes to the girls wide open, knocking down shots. What a great game it was, and for them to win the game in overtime, and I got to watch it. And, I like girls basketball. I really do. I like what it does. I like the players. They're not as athletic as the men, but at the same time, as far as fundamentally sound, getting to the right places, making the right passes, doing what they're supposed to be doing, I love what they do as far as that. So I do enjoy watching, not all girls basketball, but I do like watching the really, really good teams play. And then on the other side of that, you had LSU and South Carolina. And, of course, South Carolina, they're now, 101-3 in their last 3 years with one national title, and they've been to 3 Final Fours. So they've lost in 2 Final Fours, and they won one. But they have not lost. They didn't lose last year until the end, to getting beat by Iowa. I believe. And then, of course, this past year, they're undefeated once again. And they had the game against LSU, and it was marred by they don't like each other. And you know how it is when you don't like somebody and you're playing against them. It's it's a tough thing. Your emotions are high. They're running high. You're trying. You don't necessarily want to hurt somebody, but the feelings are high. I mean, the thing that you have about certain players and certain players is the thing we're playing with the commander, Randy Wright. He was already really sneaky about how he did stuff. He can get back at players and do things referees will not see. Now, today's game, he couldn't get away with it because of all the cameras and everything that's going on. You can't get away with what we got away with. He and I got away with a bunch of stuff too. Back in the day, you can't do that now because the cameras and the way things are set up. So people are watching. You can't do those things. But just watching him or watching the game yesterday, the LSU versus South Carolina women's game, the SEC finals. I loved what I saw because of the physicality. And, man, I tell you what, those two girls, Angel and Cardozo, they were going at it. I mean, they were going at it. They weren't shying away from each other. They were going there. They were physical. They were running their mouth at each other the whole game. And I love that because I love that game when I've got my competitor and I'm going against them and he's talking trash and I'm talking trash. I'm not backing down. He's not backing down. He's scoring. I'm scoring. We're doing whatever the hell we want. So those are the type of things that I miss and I love. So anyway, so the game was going on fine and it was getting chippy. And then at the end when LSU knew they were going to lose, they committed a foul, and then Cardozo comes over and knocks the girl down. Johnson's brother comes out of the stands, which I've never seen before. Of course, that is his sister. He didn't do anything, thank God. He didn't. He just got escorted out of the gym. He did not get arrested, which I thought was very good by the police not arresting him because they could have arrested him very, very easily. He literally came out of the stand. Somebody else came. They stopped him. They jumped over the table. Now, if he'd have put his hands on Cardozo, then that would have been a completely different thing. Then I think he would have went to jail and possibly faced, I don't know what kind of charges for doing that, but he did not. But once again, it was his sister, and I think it was just the heat of the moment. He's fired up. He knows how heated the rivalry is between South Carolina and LSU, and they're 0-4, by the way. But here's my main issue. Kim Mulkey, the coach of LSU. I'm not a fan of hers. I wasn't a fan of her at Baylor. She could have handled things differently. You had Don Staley, the coach at South Carolina, talking about how apologetic she was, how that's not telling of her team, blah, 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 saying, that's not good for the game. You've got Kim Mulkey, the coach at LSU, we're talking about, I can't believe, why didn't you put your hands on, you should have pushed Angel Reese. Really? Wait, what? So you wanted a fight. So, talking about you're 6'8", you punching somebody else. So you wanted, in the girls' game who is now getting attention, and more people are starting to watch, you wanted one of the biggest games of the year to be a fight. You wanted the two of the best players in the league fighting each other. Now, you already had an issue with Angel in the beginning, like at the beginning of the year. And you said some things back then. I can't believe she even came back to play for you. But on top of that, you're going to run your mouth again. You ran your mouth at Brittany Griner there at Baylor. And now you're doing the same thing. How do you not handle that and be more professional and be more not necessarily apologetic, but at least somewhat addressing the issue of how sorry you are for what you're doing now that girls basketball is starting, or women's basketball is starting to get more notice, that women's basketball is starting to come up. And this is National Women's Month. So, and, how do you not exploit, but how do you not take that to another level? But you wanted there to be a fight. Now, I know you don't like him. I know you've never beat Don Staley. I get all that. But for you to say that and almost really say you're inciting violence, which is what the hell you were doing, I have an issue with that. I don't think that was fair. I don't think that was cool. I think that you should have handled that completely differently than what you did. That ain't right. But once again, Mulkey gets to get away with stuff without anybody addressing her actions, without anybody putting her on post. And everybody has today, including me. I'm gonna put you on notice. You can't be saying stuff like that. Why would you want to mar the women's basketball game by wanting there to be a fight? It's already marred a little bit back. There was a fight, and what all happened? 15 minutes. The game was delayed with what? A minute to go? A little over a minute to go? 2 minutes to go? Six players got kicked out. You end up going 5-on-5. And now Cardozo has to miss the first game of the NCAA tournament because why? She got it twice, so therefore she got ejected, so she's suspended. Now she could cost her chance. It's one against 16, which, 16s do beat number one seeds. Okay, it's not going to be easy. It should be easy for them, but I think the NCAA will give them a weak team to play. That's what I think. I think they're going to give them somebody very weak so that they can make sure that they get past them with Cardozo out. That's what I believe they're going to do. That's what I would do with the NCAA. I want South Carolina in it, so I would give them the weakest possible team that I could find to stick in against them. That's what I would do. I don't know if they'll do that, but I'm assuming that's what they would do because to me, you want to see the best teams play because you want to see a South Carolina and possible LSU rematch in either the Final Four or the Elite Eight or something like that. And I think they will put them on opposite sides of the bracket to accomplish that very, very thing. Now, I don't think they'll do it before that, but it'll at least be an Elite Eight or it will be in the Final Four because that's where both of those teams will be set up to do. So that's the way I would do it if I was the NCAA, is to make sure that they have somewhat of an easy game since she is going to be missing that first game. That's what I would do. But that being said, Mulkey, you got to have more class now. You can't incite violence. You can't do that. And she should get hung up and dried out, but because of that, people should say something to her. I don't want to say hung because that's. And I apologize for that. That's terrible because, our race has been done quite a bit to that. So I apologize for using that term. But she should be hung out to dry. She should be taught a lesson. She needs to be put in her place because of what she said. Instead of being apologetic and going, hey, the game is this is how far the game has come. We're apologizing. Everything Don Staley said, she went the opposite direction. And I think she needs to be called out by the NCAA. She needs to be called out by most of the media that I heard about this morning. They all say the same thing. I mean, you can't do that. The women's game is growing. People are starting to get more and more used to it. I mean, more and more people are starting to watch it. It's becoming more and more popular to the mainstream. And then, unlike the men's game, who is going the opposite direction because they're one and done, it's like, hell, I don't even know who's playing. I got to sit there and I'm trying to do my bracket next week. I'm like, who the hell is playing? I don't even know who's playing. I got to figure it all out. I got to know who's playing because I don't. And then when I look at the Big 12, and what's coming up with the Big 12, and I look at them and I'm going, here is the Big 12 roster, Big 12 schedule coming up. Here's the Big 12 schedule of the teams that are going to be playing, okay? And the men's. And the first game tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., which of course we'll be watching, is UCF at OSU. I need to call Randy and see if he's going. I need to see if the Commanders going to that game. But anyway, that first game is number 12 UCF versus number 13 Oklahoma State, 11:30. Which will be on ESPN Plus. And then the second game will be Cincinnati versus West Virginia at 2 p.m. on ESPN2. And both of those games will be tomorrow. Now, I will watch the first game. The second game I won't be watching because we'll be starting the show, so we'll be giving you an update on what happened with OSU. And then, of course, the winner has to play BYU, which, of course, BYU just put it on my guys, my alma mater. This past weekend. So I don't know how good of a deal is facing them again right away, but that's what it will do. And then, of course, the winner of the Cincinnati-West Virginia game will go and play KU. So I don't know which is worse for Oklahoma State playing. I guess it's better to play Brigham Young, BYU, than it is to play KU. So we'll see how that's going to work. And then, of course, TCU on Wednesday, TCU and OU play at 2 p.m., and once again, we'll be able to keep you up to date on that because we'll be doing the show, but we'll be able to tell you what's going on with that. Texas at Kansas State at 6. BYU, like I said, against Oklahoma State, 11:30. And then Kansas versus the winner of Cincinnati and West Virginia that night. I know the commander will be already there, but I got to talk to him and find out if he's going to the game tomorrow, because I don't know if he's going to actually, or if they're going to go up today to watch that. I'm interested to know how long he and Kimberly are going to be gone for that. It's going to be interesting. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Big 12. Oh, man, I don't know. A little nervous for my guys tomorrow. UCF, I think we can beat them. But BYU, after what they did to us, I think it's going to be a little tough for us to get that W. But we shall see what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the thing is going to be. So I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, SRB. If you have needs for engineering, surveying, or planning, they love to be behind the scenes. So contact my guy, Mark Long, over there. They love, if you have some sort of complex that you're building or something like that, they can be more than happy to take care of it for you and get you all set up. So please holler at my guy, Mark Long, over at SRB. Collaborative Logic, they keep us up and running, so if you need for computers, software, or anything like that, they can handle it. Plus, they did do our website at www.mcsportsnetwork.com, so please go check that out. If you have needs for that, they can do that as well. Oak Grove Trucking and my guy, Jose Fierro. If you have needs for dirt, rock, or sand to be moved, hit my boy up at Oak Grove Trucking. And then, of course, YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, and they're a member of the FDIC. Proud sponsor for us to go out and support women, minority, and black-owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. So if you have any needs for that, please go ahead and contact my guys over there. Please do that. YNB, like I said. Or you can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. You can go in and see them at the main bank at 401 Elm in downtown Yukon, YNB East, which is off the Parkway and 66 or 39th Expressway, YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road, YNB Parkway, which is off Garth Brooks, and I-40. You can't miss it. It's just south of I-40 right there. You can't miss it right there. Anyway, you can't miss it right there, just south of the I-40. You can't miss it. YNB Peoples, which is in Bethany, located on 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur. And then, of course, our latest sponsor, Shelter Insurance, the Mark Pemberton Agency, located 4609 Southeast 29th in Dale City, Oklahoma, 405-670-2424. Open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. Fridays, 9 to 1. Closed Saturdays and Sundays. Proudly serving the Middale area since 1982. Yes, they are. So it's going to be good. We're going to, holler at either one of those guys. Love them and love what they do for us. So now, when it comes to NFL, I'm going to tell you, this is what I have up to date as we came online, okay, or as we came on air. Now, I don't know what's been going on before that because, like I said, this is what I have leading up to us coming on air today. The Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal, which we knew either he was going to stay in Minnesota or he was going to go there. Now Minnesota, I think, has a $28 million cap hit because they didn't re-sign him, and I think Kirk signed for, was it $45 million a year, $50 million signing bonus or something like that. He's just made so much money, it's ridiculous. But his wife is from the Atlanta area, so that probably had a lot to do with it. She wanted to be home closer to the family. The boys are growing up, so I'm sure that has a lot to do with him signing there. Plus, they have a better offensive line. They still have a bunch of weapons. They have running backs. They have wide receivers. They are loaded there in Atlanta. And plus, Minnesota, they're just at the point where they're just like, okay, we're not paying you 45 million. We're not paying you that much. And they already know what they got with Kurt, and I think they're ready to move on. Plus, I look at Atlanta, and I know that y'all have seen him before, and the coach and him had played when he was at when he was at Washington. Kirk Cousins was at Washington. He was there, so he knows kind of what he's getting out of Kurt. But he's coming back from a Achilles injury, and Kurt is a pocket passer. So the question is, how mobile will he be? Now, I've had 2 Achilles surgeries, and I still was pretty mobile. I wasn't, I still was dunking the basketball, but it's just interesting to see what's going to happen with that. And I'm just, but you look at Raheem Morris, who is the coach at Atlanta, and when you think about what they had, you got to think, okay, I know what I'm getting out of Kirk Cousins because I used to coach him, so I know what I'm getting out of him. With, on the other hand, Justin Fields, you don't know what you're getting out of Fields. Even though he's from the Georgia area, you don't know what you're getting out of Justin. I mean, he's talented as hell, but you don't know which one you're going to get or what you're going to get out of him, so I can completely understand why they did what they did. The Chiefs, of course, re-signed defensive tackle Chris Jones to a 5-year, $158 million deal, $101 guaranteed, which, of course, the Chiefs had to do. I mean, if you're going to three-peat, you had no choice. And then you've got the Jerry Sneed, you franchise tagged him. You still got to sign Rudy Gay, which of course you didn't sign him, but you did sign Drew Tranquil to a 3-year deal, and you got a good deal on him. And so the question is, what are they going to do with Drew Tranquil? I mean, with Gay now, because they did sign the commander rating right saying, you dunking a basketball at what age? 49 was my last time I dunked a basketball, so leave me alone. Why are you talking trash, bro? Anyway, 49 is when last time I dunked a basketball. Thank you. Any other questions you got, big dude? Before I gain that weight. That's what it was. You're such an ass. Anyway, the Chiefs got to, oh, whatever, dude. Whatever. See, that's what happens. See, when when your best friends always running his mouth, sending me texts, dude, just go ahead and post it on something. I mean, Anyway, I'm gonna leave him alone because I know he knows too much. He has too much dirt on me. So, you're wonderful. Thank you, Randy. But anyway, the Chiefs got, they're going. I think they're going to try to sign and trade Lazarius because they did franchise tag him. So I think they're looking to trade him. But if they can keep him, I suggest keep him. But you still, I mean, do you want to sign Gay? What are you going to draft somebody? I think you need to keep your defense in line. But he does want a lot of money, and so we'll see how that works. Of course, Patrick Mahomes will come back and restructure his contract, which that'll give you quite a bit of money. So plus you got another $30 million that the NFL gave you for this year. So you should be okay. But we'll see how that works out. The Steelers signed Russell Wilson, which we all figured Russell would sign somewhere. It's a great fit, I think, for him because it reminds him of what they had there at Cleveland when he was in Seattle. You had a running back, you had Marshawn Lynch, so you got two running backs here in Pittsburgh. Plus, you've got good wide receivers. You have a decent offensive line, but this was the deal. In 2 years with Kenny Pickett, they scored 25 touchdowns. Russell had 26 by himself last year. So, I mean, Kenny Pickett's a nice guy, but he's not the guy. Clearly, he's not the guy. But they still win because what do they have? They have defense, and they've got a decent offensive line, but they do have running backs and Najee Harris and, oh, my God, what's our guy's name that went to OSU? Wow, my mind, I'll think about it in a minute. But anyway, so they still have both of those guys, and then, of course, they've got Pickens, at wide receiver, George Pickens. So they do have wide receivers. They got guys who can catch the ball. They got guys who can go vertical. Russell still throws a good deep ball, but it's going to be interesting to see because if they could score points, that's the only thing to keep them from winning because they are going to win games. I mean, they've went to four out of 6. They've gone to the playoffs. Of course, they lost in the first round every time because they just didn't have a quarterback. They've got to shore that part of their game up, and I think they have done that. The Bucks signed Baker Mayfield. Congratulations to a grown-up Baker. 3 years, $115 million, $30 million fully guaranteed, $50 million guaranteed contract. And so when they say guaranteed, unless it's fully, it don't mean a lot. I think Chris Jones of his 101, I think 95 is fully guaranteed. So just because it says guaranteed doesn't mean it's guaranteed unless it says fully guaranteed. So that's a huge difference. But I think Baker Mayfield, when they signed, I like when they signed Mike Evans, I knew that was going to happen. So I do like this signing of Baker. I think he's matured compared to what he was at OU and what he was at Cleveland. I think he's a much better and more mature guy now than, and being humbled, I think helped him quite a bit. But congratulations to Baker, 3 years, $115 million contract. Patriots trade Mac Jones to the Jags for a 6th-round pick. That's all they got out of him. I think Mac is broken, but at least he will be with a good quarterback coach, so that's going to help him. Plus, being behind Trevor Lawrence, that's going to help him quite a bit, I believe. But that being said, congratulations to Mac getting out of there. It may be the best thing for him to change his whole attitude. Not attitude, but change his future because you go from the rookie of the year to just completely the last 2 years. Just I don't know what the hell happened to the guy. I really don't. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable how far he fell. Then of course the Eagles defensive tackle Fletcher Cox retires after 12 years. So now the Eagles have lost Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox. So, and plus, oh, by the way, DeAndre Smith left too. Swift left too. So, but they did sign, and I don't think I have that up here. Do I have that up here? No, I don't have that up here. But Saquon Barkley is on his way to the Eagles, which of course is an upgrade, I believe, over DeAndre. But anyway, let's finish talking about Fletcher Cox. When you lose two staples of your leaders on offense, your leader on defense, when you lose that locker room, and the locker room is important, and that's why I was trying to explain to you guys about the Thunder and what's going on in the locker room. The locker room matters. It really does. And coaches try to say whatever. You don't know what's going on in the locker room. Your ass ain't in there. The locker room is for the players. It's not for the players. The coaches don't know what's going on in the locker room unless one of the players are coming out and telling them. They have no clue what's going on in the locker room. They don't. And that's what I was saying about the Thunder, what my issue is with them. So the Eagles losing Fletcher Cox and then turn around and then losing Jason Kelsey is going to really hurt them, I believe, because now you have your offensive leader, your defensive leader, guys who, when they speak, people listen. They open their mouths to say something. Whatever they're saying is what's going on, because there's a level of respect. There's a level of that you have for your guys who are older than you, who have been in the locker room. You have a certain level of respect for them, and when they say something, you pay attention. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the Eagles now that both of them have retired. Randy, it was not a 7-foot goal, bro. Why are you? It was at Santa Fe. That's a 10-foot goal, bro. Well, actually, it was at Edmond Athletic Club. Is where it was. You just anyway. Randy Wright does things. The commander does things to irritate me. That's what he does. He's been doing it when we were roommates in college. He's still doing this. What he does, he does stuff to irritate me. I'm trying to get focused here, Randy. Leave me alone. I guess you had fun. Hopefully you and Kimberly had fun at the game last night, so at least have done that. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins requests a trade after being tagged. And I think he's sat there and he's like, look, I want my money. I don't, you're tagging me and you're not going to pay me what I'm worth and what I know I can get out in the open market. And that just goes to show you what's happening with the Bengals. They're slowly starting to unravel as a group. And the question is, Skip Bayless always talks about how, Joe Burrow is better than Mahomes. He's just Skip is just Skip. He's just trying to be relevant any way he possibly can because he's not relevant anymore. So he's trying to be relevant, but he's not. Anyway, T. Higgins requested trade after being tagged. I don't blame him. I want to get paid too. But I don't know if they're going to trade him. And if you don't, then the question is, do you want an unhappy guy in your locker room? So I don't know why you wouldn't trade him and get some sort of draft compensation for him. Trade him, let him get paid, let him be happy. Because there's tons of wide receivers out there in the draft right now you can go get. So I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of that. Trade him, get a draft pick, and let him go ahead and be happy, because the last thing you want is an unhappy person who's on the tag who not get money. Titans signed former running back Tony Pollard. I wanted Drew Hinton on the line so we could talk about that, because, we thought that it would be the other way around, that Tony would stay, and I just don't understand what they're doing. We thought that the Cowboys should have signed Derrick Henry. They didn't. Then all of a sudden now Tony Pollard is signing with them. So the backfield that everybody thought Dallas should have had, that now the Titans are going to have. That's what it kind of seems like. Now the question is, what do they do? Do they keep him or do they not? What do you do with him? What do you do with arguably Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league? What do you do with that? And then also we saw where Josh Jacobs got signed for somebody, and I don't have that on here, but I know that it's just all kinds of things that have been happening here today on the NFL front. But anyway, Tony Pollard signed with them, so Dallas let him go. So there's clearly something that the Dallas Cowboys have up their sleeves. But what are they going to do? You got to pay Dak a bunch of money, which he doesn't deserve. You're going to lock up because you got to pay him. You got to pay your wide receiver, Lamb, and then you've got to pay Micah Parsons. You're going to have all your money going to be locked up in three dudes. And the one dude who doesn't deserve it is Dak. To me, I think you do what San Francisco and them have done. What did they do? You go get your younger guy, and then you just you do the best thing you can because Dallas, let's face it, Dallas has drafted really, really well. So why don't you go out and you get you a quarterback, and then you keep your defense and build them up, and you do that. And because paying Dak what you got to pay him, I mean, I would say this year just go ahead and pay him on what you got to pay him. Was it $59 million or something stupid? You got to pay the guy. If you restructure the contract, then you're gonna have to pay him more money than Mahomes, which you got to do anyway. But he ain't worth more than Mahomes. He hasn't won any Super Bowls. He hasn't won any MVPs. He hasn't even gotten past the first round of. He's got what 2 playoff wins in his career. I mean, really? You gonna pay this guy? It just I don't see it. I don't understand Jerry. I really don't. I mean, I do understand the fact that you've got a team and you want Jerry to you've got a team, you got Jerry, and you're trying to pay you guys. I get that, but it's so funny when all this happened with Dak and the players. None of the players came and defended him. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Nobody defended him, and if they're not coming out defending him, what are you talking about here? Now you're gonna get this guy more money than Patrick Mahomes, and I'm sorry, Jerry, you're delusional to pay Dak Prescott more money than Patrick Mahomes. No way. He ain't even close. How do you pay a guy who's won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, have gone to 4 in 6 as a starter? And let's face it, the Tom Brady interception that they called offsides on from D Ford, that was ridiculous. They would have won that Super Bowl right there too. But instead, offsides. I mean, Tom Brady getting the breaks, but now, you don't give Mahomes a break. I mean, the same thing against the Eagles when they made that fantastic play that we'll never see, made by Travis Kelce throwing it back because they called offsides. He threw the flag after Mahomes had the ball and dropped back. Then he didn't throw it. He didn't throw the flag right at the beginning. So to me, right there, that tells you something right there. Brady gets flags. Mahomes didn't get flags. Now, the Chiefs do get benefit of some things, but come on. It's ridiculous. Raiders signed defensive tackle Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million, 84.75 guaranteed. So, what are the Raiders doing? The Raiders are saying, look, we're going to get better on defense. Look at the conference we're in. We got to face Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, and then whoever Denver's going to get. And Sean Mahomes, Sean Payton is a great offensive coordinator. So, head coach, but offensive coordinator. So, he's going to get somebody. So, what are we going to do that? We got to shore up our defense. Sorry, guys, trying to keep hydrated now. After having those kidney stones, I'm trying to stay hydrated as much as I can. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But they pretty much showed you what they want to do. They're saying, look, we're going to go head hunting. We're not going to try to hurt quarterbacks, but at the same time, we're going to make quarterbacks uneasy. So we're going to shore up our defense, and then we're going to try to do what we're going to do offensively. Well, you're going to have to keep the ball away from the opposing team. Let's face it, you beat the Chiefs last year during Christmas, and that was great. But all you did was set the Chiefs off on a mission. You got them laser focused, and they won a defeat and won the Super Bowl after that defeat. So that's what you did for them. And now you come back saying you're going to headhunt Patrick Mahomes. Really? What do you think is going to happen to you if he's playing the Raiders and he gets hurt? What do you think is going to happen? Now, I'm not saying you're trying to hurt him. I'm not saying that at all. But when you say you're going to have to headhunt, because I remember what happened with the Jordan rules. They're now calling them the Mahomes rules. I understand that Jordan got beat up. Now, you can't do that today, which is why I say today's athletes, they're way more athletic than back in the day. That's 100%. But on the other side, the flip side of that is, yeah, you're more athletic, but at the same time, the game was way more physical then than it is now. And LeBron's not playing 22 years at the high level he's doing when he can't be touched. Allen Iverson would have played longer. Jordan would have played longer. Magic would have played longer. Bird would have played longer. Yeah, you can play longer because you got guys, and this is my argument right here. Guys back in the day who were athletic could play today's game because you can't get hit. The question is, I always ask, you in today's game, could you play that game back then? Because I know they can play this game where they can't get touched, but can you physically do what you do in today's game then? No. And that's why I say Tom Brady would not have made it 20 years as a quarterback. No quarterback ever did. I don't care who it is, from Johnny Unitas on. When you're getting hit like that, you can't make it. So that's why the problem I have with I call Tom Brady the greatest winner of all time, not the greatest quarterback of all time. I call him the greatest winner because you're playing in the real, you can't get hit. I mean, like Charles Haley said, look, I'm going to take 15 yards because I'm going to take that extra step and a half and I'm going to plant Tom Brady. He said that. I'm going to plant him. Okay? Can't do that today. They're not willing to do that. Because what? You can get suspended, you can get thrown out, it cost you money, all kinds of things now instead of just 15 yards like it did back then. It costs you way more than that now. So you can't hit them. They want the quarterback to play so that the game will be scored so the fans can enjoy the game. They don't want the quarterback hit. So, when the Raiders did beat the Chiefs, and I get that the other night, but if you think you're going to do the same thing to Mahomes again, you're high. He is very cerebral. He's going to remember what you did, how you did it, how you beat him, what all happened, all the defense and everything you did. That stuff ain't going to happen again. He'll be right there ready for it. That's what he's going to do. So it's just kind of crazy to me. So I guess I was hoping Drew Hinton was going to come on today, but let me go ahead and give you his picks because people do ask me about Drew and about his picks. So here are his picks for today. He's got Gonzaga -9. Shocking. University of Nebraska at Omaha. What a shock, Drew. -1.5. 110, of course. Santa Clara, which of course is J-Dub's former alma mater, is taking them plus 11.5. -110. James Madison, boy, Drew, he's cracking me up. James Madison -5. South Dakota State -3. Charleston -6, and then of course in the league tonight he's taking the Celtics -9 and the Nuggets -14 is what he's taking. So, and when I look at the NBA games tonight, here are our games today. They're going to be on. You got the Hornets at the Pistons. You got the Suns at the Cavaliers, which is what we care about because the Suns are there. Warriors at the Spurs, which Warriors, do we really care? We do kind of. I probably want to watch the game just to watch Wembanyama and see what he's going to do. You have the Mavericks at the Bulls. The Mavericks are just, they're fighting for a spot. They can't afford to lose, just like the Suns and the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers and Suns are both fighting. So neither one of them can really afford to lose that game. So that should be a good one. I'd like to watch that. Raptors at the Nuggets. The Nuggets should handle that pretty easily, I would think. And then, of course, the Celtics at the Trailblazers, and I'm sure that's going to happen. What in the world? Man, I wish I could post this on it. Boy, you so lucky I can't post this thing right now. I wish I could post this. Randy just sent me a pic of him grabbing the rim, a 7-foot goal. That's him. That's how he got his damn goaltending because he could actually go up and touch a rim now. So if he did that, because he couldn't do it on a 10-foot goal. Yeah, I got you on that, brother. But anyway, the Celtics at the Trailblazers. So those are the games today. It's going to be some good games, and I'm looking forward to it. But once again, the Thunder don't play until tomorrow night. So we'll see what's going to happen there with that. So, but anyway, I hope everybody's enjoying it. Go out and enjoy this day. It's 70 degrees. Go hit some golf balls. I wish I could go play. I can't go play. I wish I could go play because I'd go hit some golf balls. But I'm still, my back still is not quite there from those kidney stones. I'm trying not to do anything bad to address that. So, that being said, everybody have a fantastic day. Peace out.